What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out another video. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're pumping out 3 videos a week right now. Really trying to grow this channel, and I see all you guys hitting that subscribe, always liking and commenting, and I appreciate you guys, so continue to do that. We really appreciate it. So today, we're going to talk about some new line from Seaguar. Seaguar brought over some line from Japan. So these lines have been available in Japan for a little while now, but we brought it to the US market, and I've had the chance to use this line for like the last 6 months or so, and I am super impressed. So we're going to dive in and talk about the new line and why I think you guys need it, why I think it's beneficial, and just all about the brand new lines from Seaguar. Okay, so Seaguar introduced 3 new lines coinciding with the Bassmaster Classic. The Grand Max, this is some leader line right here. It comes on small spools. A braided line, this is the PEX 8. Super thin, smooth braided line. And then the R18 fluorocarbon. So this is another addition to the Seaguar lineup with such amazing lines. It's truly incredible that they can continue to get better and build on the stuff that they already have, but that's exactly what they've done right here. So I think let's start with the fluorocarbon, and we'll kind of work our way to the braid and then to the leader line for the braid. But so the R18 fluorocarbon, now this is a double structure fluorocarbon, just like the Tatsu. So this is very similar to Tatsu, but the cool thing about the R18 is there's a lot of different sizes available. So you see we got all the different sizes here that you can really fine tune your presentation. Like we got a 6-pound line, we got a 7-pound line, we got an 8-pound line, we got a 10-pound line, 12, 14, 16, and 20. So I got all these different sizes right here so I can really fine tune whatever technique I may be throwing. So let's take a jerk bait, for instance. Okay, I can really fine tune the depth that I want that jerk bait to run with this line right here. You know, I could throw it on 7-pound line, I could throw it on 14-pound line, I could throw it on 16, I could throw it on 20, I could throw it on 8. It doesn't matter, but it's going to adjust how deep that bait runs based on the drag of the line, the diameter of the line. That's the important thing to look at with all lines, but especially Seaguar. You really want to pay attention to the diameter of the line, because that's how thick or how thin that line is, and that's going to affect the action of your bait and how that bait drags, or how that line drags as you're working that bait. So double structure fluorocarbon basically means there's an internal line and then there's an outer coating. So it gives you great durability and abrasion resistance because that outer coating, but the inside is what holds it together. It's super strong. So both of those together, double structure fluorocarbon, it is the best of both worlds, and that's generally what I'm using for most of my techniques, is either the R18 or the Tatsu fluorocarbon. That just, like I said, that's what I find is the best of both worlds. Okay, moving on from the R18, like I said, this is a great alternative if you want to try some new line. The other cool thing about the R18 is it comes in smaller spools. So this is 109 yards or 100 meters of line. And basically, that allows you to fill up one bait cast reel, generally speaking. And that way you don't have, 1.5 spools on a box of line. So just a cool thing, cool little feature with the Seaguar R18. Okay, so let's move on to the braided line next. So there is a few different sizes available, but right here I have my 2 favorites. So this is the 16-pound and the 18-pound. So this is extremely thin line. So you don't want to look at the pound test as far as the diameter. You want to pay more attention to the diameter than the pound test on this line, because that pound test number is basically a made up term by line companies that is basically whenever they feel like the line should break. So I always want to look at the diameter. So this diameter of the 16 pound is 0.006 inch or 0.148 millimeter. So that's extremely thin. So for reference, we have 10 pound smackdown right here. And if you look at the diameter of this, it is 0.008 inch or 0.205 millimeter. So the PEX is actually thinner than 10 pound Seaguar smackdown. So you can see how this gets a little confusing with the pound test numbers, but you always want to look at the diameter. So the cool thing about the PEX is it's a really thin diameter, but it's super strong. You know, it's super, super strong. I've caught some really big fish on this line over the last few months, and I really like the color of it. So it is a bright red, and then I think it's every meter. Yeah, every meter there is a green mark of 15 centimeters. So it has it right here on the box explaining that. But what that does is, so it's basically every 3 feet there is a mark of green to kind of break up the red. But what that does is that gives you kind of a strike indicator, or, you know, something to focus on when that braided line is sitting on top of the water. You know, say you're throwing a wacky worm Cinco, something where you're watching your line fall. You can watch one of those green marks. Just kind of gives you a reference point on if that line's moving or not moving, and really helps you detect those light bites on a slack line. So really cool feature built right into the line. Like I said, it's super thin, but it ties knots extremely well. Like, I've been super impressed with the FG knot with the PEX 8 line. It's really taken over all of my braided line needs for those finesse spinning rod techniques. You know, this is what I've been using on all my Demiki rigs, hover rigs, all those real light baits, wacky worms, all that real light weightless stuff. You know, it casts extremely well because it's so thin, but it's super strong. It can handle those big fish. So this is a great line, a great addition to the Seaguar lineup, and you're definitely going to want to check out the new PEX 8 braided line. So moving on with that, we have the Grand Max fluorocarbon. So this is fluorocarbon leader line. So it comes in small little spools. What are these? 66-yard spools is what this comes in. But it comes in all your standard pound test sizes that you're used to. You know, like we have a 7 here, a 12 here. But again, you always want to make sure you're looking at the diameter of those lines and comparing those to what you're used to fishing. But, you know, it comes on these nice, convenient little spools. Really like these spools. So, again, they're so small and compact that you can put these anywhere in your boat. It has a line grip built into the side here. So just like that, it holds your line. When you're done, you just pull it through there, and it grips your line till the next time. Just like that. Super cool. The other really cool thing that I like is, say you have multiples of these, just like this. Okay, so I got my 12 and I got my 7 right here. I want to keep these nice and neat in the boat. They just snap together just like that. So now they're all in one piece, super organized. They're not flying all over the boat. And then when you need one, you can just pop it out. Heck, if you know which size is which, you could even leave them on there and just pull it off, and it spins. It spins while it's in there, so it's not twisting that line when you're pulling it off like this. So super cool little spool design on the Grand Max, and that's one of my favorite features about this. You know, the line itself, it's very similar to Gold Label leader line, but it's a little more stiff. You know, Gold Label is a very soft line, so if you hold a piece, it wants to just bend over, and it's very great for certain techniques. But for me, I like a little bit stiffer line. This is more similar to the Tatsu or the R18, as it's a little bit stiffer leader line. So great for all your finesse techniques. You know, if you pair these two up right here, you've got a top of the line finesse setup for really any technique that you have out there, and you can't go wrong with these two right here. So these released at the Classic. I think they're available at all your favorite retailers right now. I think Fish USA will have them here real soon. So check out the new line from Seaguar. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd try any, or you know, what your thoughts are on line. You know, let me know if you have any other questions about line. You know, that's a few of our video ideas for the future, is to really dive in and talk about line sizes, all that sort of stuff. So let me know if you'd like to see that down in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time.